You're listening to Witch Wednesdays, your weekly podcast source for all things witchcraft in the modern world.
Welcome back to Witch Wednesdays. I'm Steph, and I have a guest here with me today to chat about one of our favorite topics. And I think everybody who is listening enjoys this time of year as well. So this is going to be a fun one. And it is somebody that you have already heard from, but it's always a good time. So I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself and let you know where you can find her online.
Hi everyone, my name is Rhiannon Harvest. I am a folk witch and occultist. I am all over the internet, YouTube, Instagram, sometimes TikTok for the fun videos. And coming up soon, also Patreon. I just launched that this last month. So lots of videos are going to be coming up there. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me there and on my Discord.
Yay, super excited. So as the time of this going live, which is October 11th, you are all listening to this, we are also going to have corresponding videos on our YouTube channel related to what we are going to be talking about today. So yes, definitely I will have all of that linked in the show notes over at witchwednesdays.com, and hopefully you are subscribed everywhere already and you will see those, but it should be a lot of fun because today's topic is going to be, just a chat about all things fall, autumn, pumpkins. I know you and I are both very excited for this time of year.
Yes, I'm bursting inside. I've been waiting for this since July. I think I mentioned last time in your interview with my podcast. And I was just like, I am ready in July. Can we do this now? So I'm so excited.
Oh, completely. I've been decorating inside my house since August 1st. Like that's when I start. So I have been in a fall mode for a long time, but I'm so glad and I think everybody did September 1st. Everybody was just ready this year. I've seen so much fall stuff online. I'm like, I am so glad that everybody is also here for this season.
Me too. I honestly think it's the best time of year. I feel the most like myself and the most connected to spirit and everything. So I love this time.
Me too. As the date of recording this, which actually is in October, it is 83 degrees here, and I am not happy about it. I have to say.
No.
This is not lovely.
Not lovely at all. I am so lucky. I have a little rainy day on my day off here, so I'm enjoying the rain right now. It's awesome.
Jealous. All right. Well, let's dive in with the first sort of question to get us started. And I am going to just ask you, what is fall to you, and how are you sort of celebrating and bringing that season into your home and your practice?
Fall to me literally is like coming home after being away from a long trip. So I feel more connected to my practice overall. I feel more connected to past loved ones on the other side. I feel like my abilities that I'm currently working on in the psychic realm are more turned on. I'm able to connect a lot more to both guides and ancestors. And I just feel like it's like a homecoming kind of thing. You know, you've been away for a long, long time and you're coming home for the holidays. So it always makes me really excited. And I feel a little bit more myself. What I'm doing for celebrating is I wanted to do this, I think last year. And I talked about it when I was talking about my ancestor altar on my podcast last year, but I never got to do that because, good old depression and lots of things. But now that I'm in a better place, I'm setting up my ancestor altar. I'm making an ancestor oil as well so that I can connect with them throughout the year a little easier, using the energies this time of year to really anchor that into the oil. And then I'm doing my wishing pumpkin spell and a lot of shadow work and journaling.
Oh, I love that. And I'm so happy for you that you are in a better place. That's fantastic. I love to hear that.
Thank you.
And it is really hard when that stuff affects your spell work in your life, because it's already affecting every aspect, and then to not even be able to do all of the witchy things on top of it that you would like to, that's really hard.
Oh yeah, and I can go into this as a whole other topic later on down the line with being maybe more neurodivergent and being more of a person that deals with mental health issues and stuff like that. But, like that kind of thing can really add to the pressure of everything. And I'm just really glad that my practice has been able to start helping aid me in that. So instead of being like an extra pressure of being able to do my rituals and not feeling guilty for not connecting, I was able to focus on a couple of rituals that helped aid me in like healing that area. And I'm finding it's working quite well. So positive side note, it's not like an end all thing. You're not gonna have to suffer with it forever. Like I feel like along with like medication and dealing with like doing psychology and going with your doctors and stuff like that. Also, adding a little ritual here and there to help support you internally is really helpful.
Oh, I am so glad for you. So you like get to extra enjoy this season.
Yes.
Yay. Let's dive into pumpkins because I know that is where this sort of inspiration for this episode came from, was just like pumpkins and spell work in general.
Yeah.
And like you said, we have already recorded an episode for your podcast, and like that's like all I cared about and wanted to talk about. Was like, I am so excited for pumpkins.
Yes.
Oh, so what are you planning on doing as far as gathering your pumpkins, and then what are you going to do with them?
So we have a local farm just outside of my city here, and I love them because they have like a little petting zoo. They have like an in-ground trampoline, and like I love this place. This is like my Disneyland every year, and I didn't get to go last year, so this year I'm really hoping to go there, do a little train ride around, hang out with the family. And I always gather my pumpkins there as much as I can. I feel like it's more connective for me than to go to a regular grocery store. But like if that's all you have, that's definitely okay too. But I really like going there and like picking out my pumpkins, decorating a few of the smaller ones before I go home. And yeah, and then I have a couple of rituals planned for those.
Oh, yay. I know I love going and actually getting them myself. For me in Chicago, it's like an hour drive. I have to go
Yeah.
out of the city to find that, but it is, I think, such a nice way to connect and feel like a part of nature and a part of, the farm aspect of it, because otherwise you get really lost in city life.
Yeah, exactly. And for myself, I honestly feel like this is like another aspect of something I could totally talk on for a couple episodes, but like I wanted to do, and I do always want to get to this goal is doing like small living, like, or just living out more of a simplistic life outside of the city. I want to be able to have like a sustainable home life and be able to grow my own things and all of that and kind of like have my own like homestead kind of thing. And just going out there to visit for a while just feels more like home. And it ignites an excitement for me.
I think that's one of the first things that we ever talked about the first time you were on the podcast, was how you want to
Yeah.
do that in the future. So
Yeah.
I like hearing that. That's still your dream.
Yeah, it's my obsession. It's become a little bit of an over obsession, but that's okay. It means I'm getting closer to what I want.
Would you grow pumpkins?
Oh, heck yeah. I actually tried last year, but our soil was so terrible in our old house before we moved. It's like riverbed soil in that whole area, and I had to like reinvigorate my soil. So it was finally good enough to like grow zucchini, which is pretty affluent, but um everything else not so much. Next year I'm hoping to do that. I have a little trellis that I'm starting to set up, and hopefully I'll be able to do that early enough in the summer that they'll start to grow for before winter, because we get an early winter here.
Wow, that will be very exciting. I've heard that they do grow well once you've gotten started.
Yeah, I really want to have like some of the just the smaller ones that kind of hang off the trellis. I think my front yard's a little too small for like the big ones that will vine across my walkway. But I would I would also live with that. I just don't know if my mother-in-law would be okay with that for her, because it's her. She owns it here. So like I don't know if she'd like that.
And the reason that we talk about pumpkins and that they're so prolific this time of year, like really everywhere. Like I'm not just talking about pumpkin spice. That's not, the only thing that's out there. But it has traditionally been such an important crop for like so many of our ancestors because it grows in so many different areas. Like it's throughout history we see pumpkin in everything. It grows in so many different places. So it's not, as localized as something that like you only see in witchcraft from, ancient Ireland or something. There is pumpkins just everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a staple crop for a lot of people for their food, and it helped them get through a lot of hard times. And it lasts really well if you dry it out in the sun after harvest. It's kind of like a hardening off. Like you can do this with onions and carrots and stuff, and you put it in your cool cellar, and you can actually have it last all winter long. So you can have piles of pumpkins to make really nourishing soups and stews and stuff like that. And that's another thing I really want to do one day. But yeah, they're really amazing.
Yeah, so many great things that you can do with them. And it was absolutely a sign of like that, like one of the last ones that you harvest. So it is like that final harvest that comes up at this time of year. Samhain is supposed to be, the third of all of the harvest. There's so many harvest festivals. They're all harvest festivals. But it is the third one of like the very last stuff. And pumpkin tends to be one of those things that's like at the very end and then lasts throughout the winter and just provides so much nourishment. So I love all of the history of that. And there's also a lot of like folklore history, and most of our, pagan customs like come from these ancient pagan practices. So, when we carve the pumpkins and do the jack-o'-lanterns and use the
Mhm.
pumpkin seeds, those all came from like ancient pagan practices. I love that history of it.
I know, me too. I think it was one of my very first few videos. It's a terrible video. Please God, don't go watch it right now because it's so cringy.
Literally everyone is going to go watch it right now because you said that.
There's so many jump cuts. I was ill and my voice sounds terrible. So please realize I was so uncomfortable on camera, but I might have to do an updated video on that. But I did go over like kind of like the Celtic slash like Wiccan origins of Samhain and um Hallows Mass, and kind of how like the Christian reconstruction like kind of meshed everything together. It's a very like bullet pointed video, but it kind of gives you some ideas of where it kind of came from and why we sometimes confuse All Hallows Eve and like Halloween with like Samhain. They're very different separate things, and like nowadays like we as practitioners may celebrate them together, but in its origin in like ancient Ireland and Scotland, it was a different thing completely. But yeah, feel free to go watch it. Just know you're gonna cringe the whole time.
Literally everyone is going to go do it now just because you said that. But
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, it's we all feel that way about, our earliest works, and it's still good information. So
Yeah.
but yes, I mean I love pumpkin carving, but I also love pumpkin seeds. And that
Yeah.
is probably, I think pumpkin seeds are the thing that I am most looking forward to for this season, and definitely what is going to be featured in the video that hopefully everybody will go watch after they listen to this.
Oh
Um,
yes.
but I feel like there is so much that you can do. I mean, we'll get into like all of the pumpkin, but I'm starting with the seeds, which is like the last part. But I'm a rebel, so we're starting there. Pumpkin seeds are probably my favorite part because they are just so versatile, and they're something that you can make at the time when you are carving, like to eat them, like delicious. Love roasted pumpkin seeds. But then they're also great for drying and then using in future spell work throughout
Mhm.
the winter months. And I love both aspects of that. So it's probably my favorite form for using them. Um, but I would love to know what your favorite part of using the pumpkin is. And if it's seeds, join me.
Oh, it's so hard, but yes, I do save the seeds. I'm a bit of a cereal seed saver. Every time we get a pumpkin or even a squash or like like an acorn squash or something. I love those seeds too, but they're a little sweeter. And my boyfriend tries to like throw them out, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Those are good snacks, or I can use it in a ritual." Um, but yeah, I love the seed, but I also love working with the pumpkin as a whole. So like just the shell of the pumpkin. Like I can go into detail later, but I do a wishing ritual every year around this time, right before Samhain, where I and my boyfriend now we are doing this as a little what's it called? Tradition where we make 7 wishes for each of us. And put our ingredients into the pumpkin and we let it infuse over the next few days up until Samhain, and then at the end of Samhain we bury it. So that's my favorite one.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun. I mean, I usually do like composting for whatever is left of the pumpkin, but like to have it be like a wish first is really nice.
Yeah, I really love it. I mean, I guess I could go into it since I'm talking about it, but
Let's do it.
um I mean, I sometimes go off intuition, but there's always a base combination that I use. So I always extract my pumpkin seeds because I use them for separate things, and I'll maybe add 7 back in. And then I use things like calendula, mint, allspice, star anise, cinnamon, and I will add in my wishing paper. So either you can do it on bay leaves, or I like to use just pieces of scrap paper, and I make a like vegetable ink. So I usually use beets, and then I write on that with my glass pen. But it's a little extra. You don't have to do that. I just I don't like to like take things out, so I'm gonna bury everything and it's gonna be compostable. So I basically do a whole ritual with that, put my intentions and energy into that, and I make an outside altar. So I have a little like working plate outside. I have corresponding like moon water or oils and candles, and I let that sit there over the course of the week. And sometimes I'll go out there and sit with it and put my intention with it throughout the week. People think I'm crazy, but it's fine. I just tell them I like to sit outside. And at the end of that, we just take the pumpkin, bury it, and then I plant a bulbing flower or something like a tulip or something on top of that. So that's going to be the fertilizer for my flowers in the spring, and it helps to bless the garden.
Oh, I love that. It's like full circle.
And I like to use the energy of earth too. So burying it into the earth is bringing it down from like your mental space down into the earth, bringing the manifestation into reality in my mindset. So I really love that one.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely beautiful and must smell great too. Just like everything that you mentioned. I'm like, yes.
It does. It smells so good.
Now, for me, pumpkins are associated with protection, but also abundance and prosperity. So are your wishes related to that, or can you just do any any wish?
I mean, for anything, but like it's great for gratitude as well. And fertility. For creativity, I very much associate that with pumpkins, especially because orange is my favorite color. Orange is the color of creativity. And so it's always been something like that. So I tend to put smaller pumpkins around my creative space, not just my altar, but a place where I make a lot of content. So my working desk, my art area, that kind of thing. And it helps to spur creativity when I'm feeling a little low on that.
Oh yeah, orange is a great color for that.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites too. I do love orange.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, what's your favorite color? Pink? Purple?" I'm like, "Ew, no."
Orange. Orange for life.
Orange. Neon orange, please.
And yeah, I completely agree. Orange is great for creativity. So that's such a nice use of pumpkins as well because those little ones last forever. So you could display them for like a really long
So
time on
long.
your altar.
Exactly. And I actually love to do drawing on those. They're not so great for like carving, especially the teeny tiny ones. Maybe the ones that are like about 2 hand sizes worth and are more round, those are okay to carve, but the smaller ones I tend to be a little waxier, and I don't know if it's because they put stuff on it, maybe they do and make them last longer, but I do a lot of like sigil drawing on those. So I'll put them underneath, or I'll put like just like more of like a drawing artwork type spell work all over those, and just pop them all over the place. I'll use them as wards for on the doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've already gotten a few of them. Right now, I just have them as like a centerpiece on our dining table. But I do sigils on the bottom immediately.
Like bam, protection, or bam, prosperity.
Like one of the easiest things to do is just like work so fast, and then you set them out and they're decor. Nobody's any the wiser.
Yeah, no one has any idea.
Yeah, that is always what I do with those, because you're right, they just are not great for carving. You can't really, I mean, you draw on them, that's about it. But yeah, to actually carve those out doesn't really work. You need a good sized pumpkin for that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But I do love carving the pumpkins. It's just that like once you do it, then they just don't last as long. So you have to be like strategic about when you do that. Because
Yeah,
once you cut it
absolutely.
open, you're kind of done.
Yeah, they start to wither pretty quickly, and I like to do that maybe the week of or the week and a half of, and I'll do it a couple times. I may have like one round of pumpkins, and then they start to wither. I'll bury them, and then I'll do another round to last through, because I just like having them out and around. It just makes me feel like I'm in like Halloween Town or something, and that's the place I've always wanted to live. So it just makes me feel at home.
Oh my gosh, I completely agree with you. I forgot where that is, but I would like to go visit it in real life, whatever
I
that
forget
town
where it
is.
is too. I don't know if it's
Something,
like
there's
Massachusetts.
there's like two huge things that were filmed there. I
Yeah.
feel like isn't it Twilight? Twilight was filmed there, and Halloween Town, the same
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
I forgot where
I
that
think
was, like Oregon or something. I don't know, but yeah, if anybody does know or remembers that, then let me know, because obviously we should go visit that. I hope that they like remake it into Halloween Town every year. That would just be amazing.
right. Oh, and you're totally right. St. Helens, Oregon.
Oregon, yes, I had
Uh,
that in my brain someplace.
we'll have to
But
go travel or something if we're able to ever meet up one day. We should do like a witchy traveling vlog or something.
yeah, let's have like a witch group meetup in
Mm-hmm.
Halloween Town.
Oh, that'd be so magical. I'd love that.
Oh my gosh, yes, it would. It would. I have no strong feelings towards Twilight in any direction, but Halloween Town, yes, 100%.
I'm that weirdo who fell in love with the books, and then I was okay with the movies for a while until I realized how badly they were filmed, and I can never watch them again.
They're like, I don't know, every once in a while, like every couple of years, it's like a guilty pleasure that I'm just like, oh, it's on TV and I'm gonna watch it. And then I do, and then I'm like, this was a mistake.
This is not good whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. But I love Robert Pattinson as a person, so
Yeah.
I give him lots of credit for sticking it through.
I tend to just make fun of Kristen Stewart's acting, and I don't know if that's mean or not, but I find it really cringy. But yeah, I
You
was
know,
in
it
love with Robert.
is. It is cringy. However, the character in the books is written cringy, so I feel like
Mhm.
she's right on point. Like I feel like maybe her acting is actually fantastic because
That's
she
true. Maybe
nailed
it
it.
is. Maybe it is. I feel like in my head Bella was so much more cool, maybe a little bit more shy, and maybe that's just me portraying myself onto her. But like I was like, I don't know. I feel like she wouldn't be so like lip bitey and stuff, but
Oh, now I'm just gonna like have to add Twilight to like my movies to watch this season. Why not? Add it to
why
the
not?
list. But Halloween Town first for sure.
Obviously.
So, do you have anything else that you are going to be planning with your pumpkin and your spell work this season?
Hmm. Yeah, I actually, because I want to work on developing my ancestor altar this year and having it up all year long, and just starting that devotional with them and veneration, I decided I want to start off the offerings with like a spirit kind of offering. So I got this idea from spirit cakes, but instead I'm going to do spirit pumpkin, so like pumpkin pie, this mini ones, and I'm gonna bless them for that as a, like a gratitude for going through the things that they did and for the lessons that they might help me through in the future, and kind of just like a connection thing for the holidays. So I'm excited about that.
Ooh, that sounds like a nice one too.
Yeah, and they're super cute too, because like those mini muffin trays, like the teeny tiny bite-sized ones, that's what I'm gonna do them
Ooh, very nice.
in.
Now you're giving
Yeah.
me lots of ideas because I have not done my ancestor altar yet. I get very much into secular Halloween,
Mhm.
and that's sort of my holiday, my season. I love it, and I just don't like think about ancestor stuff. But then once we get into November, that's like a heavy ancestor month for me.
Mhm.
But obviously, pumpkins last all the way through November, so
Oh,
I
exactly.
giving me great ideas for what I want to include on my ancestor altar. I think I will build it this month, like before November 1st, but
Mhm.
it'll like mostly be up like through November.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be really exciting. I'm also hoping to do my ancestor oil, like I mentioned earlier. So that's something I'm really excited about. There's so much you can do in adding pumpkin seeds into that. It is a great way to incorporate the abundance of connection, the abundance of gratitude, prosperity with learning lessons, that kind of thing. And maybe even just creativity with being able to connect to them. Some people can't connect to them through auditory senses. Maybe they have to look outside of the box of that. So allowing you to explore your psychic senses in the way that you're supposed to. So I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, so many different ways to incorporate that. And speaking of connection and abundance of connection, the other thing that I wanted to chat with you about is that this is sort of a seed like starting the season and heading into the holidays and
Mhm.
people, guests,
Yeah.
and having guests over, connecting with people, going to other people's houses, and just like getting ready for like it can be taxing.
Yeah.
It's a lot to have people in your home, in your space like that, even though like it's exciting and it's fun, like it's a good time, like it can be emotionally like draining and
Hmm.
overwhelming. So yeah, I would love to chat too about the holiday aspect, of this season and preparing for guests.
Oh, yes. There's so much that I can say on that, especially coming from a family that maybe wasn't always the kind that got along as easily, at least for like longer periods of time. Short bursts are fine. But after a while, we have all really strong personalities, and we have to like end holidays early, or just the energy of people you could feel, especially for myself as I was coming into like any type of knowing of my abilities. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just felt overwhelmed with people all the time, and didn't understand why I had such like social anxiety, because I was fine like when I was younger, but I find like putting pumpkin seeds in a small little charm bag and just carrying it with you. I either put it like in my bra or like in my pocket of my jeans, and it's a good protection spell along with protective herbs, maybe like a like protective crystals like smoky quartz or obsidian, that kind of thing, and a sigil, and that works really easily for me, and no one can see what you're doing. There, it's just hidden away.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned pockets too, because when you said bra, I was like, yes, of course. What do men do? And I was like, oh yeah, men have pockets.
I'm like, what are they gonna do?
What are they going to? Oh, right. Men's clothing has real pockets. Yeah, I carry everything in my bra.
Same. I don't know what it is, but like, why do like quote unquote like cis women's clothes like have no pockets
No
whatsoever?
pockets.
Are they just trying to make us cranky or something?
I know. It's so rude. And I see all those like memes and stuff on Instagram that they're like, if you want to like, you know, how like conversations go with a girl and you like compliment her dress and she goes, thanks, it has pockets. I'm like, yes, we all do that because we're so excited that a piece of clothing finally has real pockets.
I know.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. I always carry things in my bra. But you know what? I never like lose things or like nothing falls out when it's in my bra. It's pretty secure.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. Could you imagine just like walking into a family event and you have like crystals and like stuff falling out of your shirt? It's
I
like,
feel
what
like
is
at
that?
my family events, like nobody would be that surprised.
Oh,
I don't
true.
think anybody would like batted eyelash, but I love that. I feel like I should adopt more of that in going to all the parties and stuff that we have planned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just having something on you at all times. I like to charm like rings and stuff like that too. And like incorporating the aspect of pumpkin, you can make a dry, loose abundance or protection powder and just charge your jewelry in that, and no one would be the wiser. I love doing dry rubs for that kind of thing. I do my crystals all the time, and I just reuse it every year. And then when I feel like it's out of charge, I just put it into the garden because everything's biodegradable.
Yeah, I do that too. I like to try most of the time. I would say 90% of the time. I'm able to, that's like the best way to dispose of everything. But there are a few things that are like secretly like not biodegradable and drives me crazy. I'm like, no, one thing
Ah,
stuck in there.
damn it. You
No,
like
I
pick
have
everything
to.
out.
I know, I do. I totally do. I have to be better about that and like not letting those little sneaky things in there.
Mhm. Same.
Is it just, makes you feel more connected when you can dispose of things that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I'm not hurting anything that I believe so strongly in protecting. So I try to be a little bit more conscientious and stuff like that when I'm using earth elements. Um, or if I am going to be burying something that's not able to be buried, I'll use like a house plant and use it in a jar. And then that way it is still incorporating that, but I can take it out after a period of time after it manifests and dispose of it the right way.
Yeah, and glad you said houseplants because that reminds me is like one of the things that I do to bury that I am looking forward to, or I think my houseplant is looking forward to, is that I stick pumpkin seeds in there every year.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
love it. They're like hidden in there. I don't know how many are in there still now, but they are. They are there every year.
actually I have like a really good sweet recipe for the pumpkin seeds. I found this online and it looks so good.
Oh, share.
All right, so you're gonna like wash your pumpkin seeds really well, and then you're gonna cook them in ground cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, bit of vanilla, and then you can pop them in a dehydrator or in the oven for a little bit. And they're so good for just snacking and bringing your intentions internally. And then if you are to use this in a spell work and not eat them, then you can add pumpkin essential oil, patchouli, and honeysuckle.
Oh, that sounds really nice.
Yeah, and then I like to grind it up and use it as like an incense.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everything in there smells so good. You just mentioned
It
it.
does.
I will probably share mine over on the video, but I usually go like a salty, spicy route.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely like cayenne and like chili powder. I'm like, yes, that's my kind of snack.
Yum. I love a good salty garlicky, maybe a little bit of dill is also really good. It's one of my favorite herbs.
Ooh, delicious. See, there's just so many options. They're such a good snack.
They're the best. I think it's my favorite.
Well, thank you so much for being here today again, and just chatting about pumpkin and about fall. I know that it's a lot of our favorite season, so it is very exciting to be able to share that with somebody else. And I appreciate all of the different spells and things that you were able to share today.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. And if you guys want to try them, feel free to try them out. Let me know how you enjoy everything over on Instagram. And I look forward to seeing all of your guys' results. And I hope you have an amazing Halloween and Samhain season.
And I will make sure everything's linked. So if you want to see our practices and our pumpkins in action, then that will be over on YouTube to check out later today. But I think that will be fun. I hope everybody is getting their pumpkins and enjoying the season and getting ready for Halloween.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Seth, for having me on again.
Thank you for being here. And listeners, that is everything that I have for this week. Again, as usual, all show notes are over at witchwednesdays.com. So if you are looking for all of those links, that is where they will be. And I will see you next week.
Need even more? Subscribe to Patreon and YouTube for exclusive bonus content. Order a themed witchcraft box every month through Witch Wednesdays on Etsy. Be sure to follow on Instagram at Witch Wednesdays Podcast. Find all these links and more at witchwednesdays.com.